do have any questions during the session, pop those into the chat box. We do work those into the presentation. And then we also have Q&A at the end. If you are feeling like you are struggling in any way, I think these anchors can help you. You may see me pausing during the session, and that's because I am reading those questions real time. First off, what are your homeschool challenges? We want to help and support you with whatever your challenges are. You can also always call us at 888-556-6284. We love those phone calls and getting to help you change your life for the better. Okay, so let's look at some common challenges that many of us face at one time or another. We don't all have perfect days all the time, and some of us actually rarely have a perfect day. So you are not alone. Uh, does the day get away from you and leave you feeling unaccomplished? You're grumpy, your kids are grumpy, and you're not checking off the boxes that you want to be, and those self-doubts start to creep in. You can't do this. You're not cut out to be a homeschool parent. Or maybe you're concerned about meeting state standards, or you just feel like you could have a better rhythm to your homeschool day. Any of those sound like you? Well, you can use homeschool anchor points to finish the year strong and hold your homeschool day together, making the experience better for everyone involved. And so, homeschool anchor points again can help you finish the year strong, hold your homeschool day together, and make the homeschool experience better for everyone involved, both you and the kids, as well as extended, the family that is in your household that may not be involved in the homeschool process, because stress in your homeschool certainly is going to carry over and affect, family life as a whole. So, anchor points can quiet those voices of doubt, and, rather than feel like you've lost control of your plans for the day, they can, hold us to a rhythm and provide natural breaks in our day where we can, come back to refocus and maintain the momentum and a positive outlook on homeschooling. This first homeschool anchor, we all know this at some level, but most of us neglect it. We really want to ensure that we're making time for self care. One of your anchors could be to give yourself at least an hour a week of you time. An hour to relax and unwind alone. If you have time, adding a second hour to that to, take time to learn and nurture your interests and do new things, that's going to help you even more. But, just that core hour to, focus in on yourself and your own experiences and being able to reflect on that and give you time. And this is going to kind of tie into another tip that we have towards the end. We do have 7 tips to share with you today, but this so easy to neglect. Even once you get into a good routine of making sure that you're including that into your schedule, things happen in life. New situations arise that take our attention away from our usual routine. And so it's easy to make this the first one that can go to the wayside. But when you get out of the habit of doing this, you're probably going to hit a burnout point. So, this tip is a good starting point to making the homeschool experience better for the whole family, and indeed makes a great number one anchor point. Um, Coffee, by the way, with a local group of homeschool moms is a replenishing activity to work into your rotation of, you time. That is, one of my top tips to new homeschool moms is always to, make some local homeschool connections. The online support groups are awesome. Of course, resources like this are also really useful, but having those local folks that you can get together with in person and share about your experiences, both your triumphs as well as your challenges, can really definitely be a replenishing, well worth that hour of investment. Okay. Now, all of these tips could be worked into your schedule cards, which we're also going to look at later on. If you've watched any of our sessions on the homeschool planning, you're familiar with schedule cards and know what they are. We will look at those in just a little bit, but just keep in mind that you can actually block the time out for these on your cards. Okay. Kids like predictability. It gives them a sense of security. So, another anchor that you may find very useful is morning time. This is a time where everyone comes to, follows a short routine. This can be combined with breakfast. Back to morning time. So, this can be combined with breakfast. Start off with, and it doesn't have to be an involved routine. This can be, a matter of 5 to 10 minutes. Um, and this is actually something that Montessori schools do, have circle time. And they'll come together, maybe play a song, read a new poem or a story, but also work in some targeted discussion. Ask what they liked about the day before. What did they find challenging? And this is going to help you refine what you're doing. You may think that everything you did the day before with your child went smoothly and was absorbed, but in that next day in your morning time discussion, you might be really surprised to find out they actually didn't understand something that you had done the day before. And so this is a very low stakes, no stress conversation situation where their responses can help you refine what you're doing, especially that what did you find challenging, but also what they liked the most about what you did the day before, because that can help you clue into your child's um, learning style also. Okay. Also, review the plan for the day. Discuss the upcoming activities, topics you're going to be covering, any special events, and anything out of the norm on your schedule for the day. Hmm. Okay, I'm going to be doing a lot of editing on this video after the fact. Sorry. Okay, so review the plan for the day. Um, and anything that's going to be different or unusual about the routine, especially. Okay, so you've gotten your morning time down. The next tip is eating meals together. Family mealtime where everyone comes together and shares a meal together without devices has become scarce, even among homeschoolers. So we want to be very deliberate and mindful about making this happen. So one of the things that you can include in your mealtime is a specific discussion. So this could be based on maybe current events that are going on, historical events. You can tie in discussion about what you're learning in history or science, I find that those topics lend themselves especially well to mealtime discussion or even art or music. Um, a child's interest discussing, diving into that can help with career development plans down the road and any future plans that are coming up, field trips that they would like to go on, so that family mealtime is a wonderful opportunity for meaningful discussion. And the family meal also helps to really link people, bond people together. Family mealtime does not need to be something elaborate like a holiday. It can be very simple. And keep in mind, you do want to be involving the kids in meal planning, meal preparation, and meal cleanup. Keep in mind those Montessori age appropriate chores. Toddlers can be involved in all of those stages, the planning, the prep, and the cleanup. So this mealtime does not need to be something that you are totally responsible for planning and executing because, when that happens, it's going to add to your stress. So make sure, and the kids are going to be more vested in mealtime the more they're involved with it. Um, and again, be sure that this is device. The family mealtime can also involve scheduled snack time. uh, but keep in mind that meal times and especially snack times. It's good to keep those the snack times a little flexible because not everyone is going to be hungry at the same time for sure. Having snacks available and prepared ahead of time can also be a stress reliever instead of a stress inducer. Um, so, some simple, even raw vegetables, leftovers, but, have things planned out so that you don't need to be doing a lot of prep on the spot. Okay. And the mealtime can be combined with family reading time. This is another wonderful anchor that can help to keep your days on track. And, as people start to feel, maybe stressed out, one child is stressed about their science, maybe another one is finding something in history challenging. Um, okay, let's use those anchors to pull us back in. Reading time is a great one. Family read alouds are not just for the little kids. And again, this is a great time for discussion. So when new vocabulary words come up with in that reading, you can discuss those. You can discuss the characters of the story. Think about those literary elements, character, plot, setting, all of those things that we want our children to be mindful of and include in their writing. As we're doing family read alouds, if we include those points in our casual discussion as opposed to, you know, um, having all of those things be pulled out with worksheet type things. Um, that's going to be beneficial. And you'll see those types of discussion activities in our language arts curriculum. So if you need some ideas for those, you can always turn to that as a reference. And then just one other note about your family reading time is that having those family read alouds is a really effective way of advancing your child's literacy skills. Uh, So the best time to start reading to your child is actually from the very beginning, even when they're a baby, but it's, never too late to start that family read aloud. But creating that daily family reading habit gives your child a boost over his or her peers. Um, if you start reading to your child at about the age of 6 months, and I even start earlier than that. But if you start at about 6 months and read just, one picture book a day to your child, not a chapter book necessarily, but just reading one book a day per your child to your child, um, he or she will have been exposed to about 1,600 books by kindergarten. And with that, you are going to be really enriching their vocabulary, um, which is a great way of boosting your child's reading skills even before they begin. Because um, if your child is trying to decode a word that they've never heard, it's going to be that much more challenging. So the more vocabulary that we're able to expose the kids to before they even start reading, um, the easier time that they are going to have. Just another tip, when you are reading to your child early on, it's great to, have your finger tracking the words, and that's going to help them to see that, top left to right, top to bottom, that the eye movements that are happening in reading, and train them for those proper eye movements. So a lot can be going on and happening for your child when you're doing that family reading time. Okay, digital hour. And Catherine Donnelly at ShillerLearning, she actually has no screens are allowed in her house prior to 3:30 in the afternoon. And that way, um, there is a motivation to finish their checklist, and that way there is motivation to finish their checklist, um, and get to their digital hour. So you can set a specific time for your digital hour, and this is going to help keep screens of all sorts from being a distraction prior to that. I know that the digital devices are such a challenge for all of us. Not just in our homeschooling, but other areas of life. Those digital devices, and especially now with COVID, I know a lot of us have, let our kids do a lot more online simply because so many other things were no longer available. But we want to, rein those in and keep them from, interrupting other activities that the child is going to benefit from so much more, whether it's academically, socially, or emotionally. Also going to be, better for their eye health as well. So set that specific time for the digital hour, and then try not to schedule other things during that time. Sometimes when, we're looking and thinking, oh, let's move things around, this can be something that is tempting to bump. Sometimes, it may be necessary occasionally. That's okay. But try not to schedule other things during that time. Okay. Number six, to balance your digital hour, is a 10-minute everyone moves time. So this can be linked to a specific time in your schedule or a subject, or you can do it random. We're going to talk about the schedule cards. If you're going to do those in a flexible way, this can be one of those things, and the kids choose when they're going to do it. So this can be anything. If you like to do yoga, it could be family yoga time together. You can simply have a flash dance party and rotate which person in the family gets to choose the music. That can be a lot of fun. You can also use this time to practice math facts. We in the Schiller Learning math curriculum do a lot of multi-sensory things for practicing math facts. And both in the curriculum as well as in the math facts boot camp. So this could be a time for doing that multiplication hopscotch or practicing math facts with the ball. Um, those types of things could be included in this. The ball, by the way, that's a great manipulative to use, across different disciplines, not just math. Um, this physical activity is going to help reduce everyone's stress. When you're moving major muscle groups, it's firing neurons in parts of the brain that would have otherwise been inactive. And it just helps to give everyone a reset. So if you are going to keep this, you're doing a flexible schedule as opposed to a specific time. This may be a card you want to pull out if things seem to be getting stressful for the kids or yourself. Okay, the seventh anchor point that can help to keep you on track, motivated, and reduce stress is quiet time. This is white space, where you know, everyone can just take some time to themselves. They can do napping, they can do reading, or, maybe they have a particular hobby that they're interested in. They can spend their quiet time doing that. Quiet time, this white space, this you also want to be device free. Because if the child is spending their quiet time on a device, they are not getting that same emotional and brain benefit that they are from the um, the white space that they would otherwise. Okay, so all of those 7 anchor points, you can work in to your schedule. And, when you're starting off trying to include these, you don't need to include all 7 at once. That's going to be overwhelming. um, so, maybe this week, pick one of those to include into your schedule. And then you'll work that into your routine. And each week, add another one of those. And that's going to make it very easily assimilated into your day. Now, in our, we have 2 planners that are available to you. There's a homeschool parent planner and a student planner. They are both absolutely free resources. So whether you're using our curriculum or not, there's no fee for downloading those. And we do have a freebie sample homeschool freebie bundle for you that includes both of those. This They are chock full of excellent tips for homeschooling for both you and the kids. The schedule cards are one of those resources that are in there. So you can have, and these are your schedule cards are not just for academic subjects. You can include your anchor points in here as well. So this can be a mix of activities for which there are set times. Also include outside activities, any classes that your child is participating in. So that you have a comprehensive look at all of the things that you want to fit into the day. That's why it's so important, to schedule things like white space, that free time, because, you've got a lot that you're trying to pack into a day, raising and homeschooling the kids. So those things that are easily bumped but make a big difference in how our day goes, by having those on your schedule cards, it can help us hold on to those anchor points. And those anchors can keep us from going adrift in our away from our goals. So you can have a mix of set times as well as a flexible structure. So maybe you don't have set times for your academic subjects, but you know that, okay, we want to do, these specific things each day. And so you can have a card for that. Um, and then the child can pull out that card when they want to do it. So the schedule cards are a nice way of giving us that structure of the routine, all of the goals that we're looking to accomplish for the day, but then give us flexibility. And by giving the child choice of what they want to do whenever possible, is going to help make them more vested in their homeschool experience. Okay, so you can have the title of whatever that subject or activity is on the front. On the back of the card, you can also have, you know, pictures or a list of the materials, anything that's associated with that subject or activity, or points to remember about what's going to happen during that activity time. One of the things, if you have our language arts A with the movable alphabet, you can use your movable alphabet to lay out the name of that subject or activity. And then they lay out underneath of that, some of the all or some of the materials, whatever you have space for in the picture, and then photograph that and lay it out, use that, print it for on your either cardstock or your index cards to create your schedule cards. It's a neat manipulative to pair with your scheduling activity. Just keep in mind that, just because a routine or planning method doesn't just click with you immediately, doesn't mean that it's never going to work. You may need time to iron out the wrinkles in that, adjust it, tweak it so that it works for your family. And again, routine changes can be more easily assimilated into your routine when they are done gradually. So, like I said, instead of trying to do all seven of these tomorrow, yeah, just pick one to get started with, and then, slowly add them. And then just keep in mind, we want to be present. So when we are working with our kids, try not to be distracted by other things. The more that you are present in what you're doing with your child, the more that they are going to be present. So the homeschool anchors, they can help keep you steady but flexible. We don't want to feel like we are serving the anchors. The anchors are there to serve us. So use them with grace and flexibility. They are going to be great placeholders in your day, time or, activities that both you and your child look forward to, and help keep you on steady track. If you are in a state where you have, reporting requirements. For example, I'm in Pennsylvania, and one of the things that we need to do is report 180 days. So one of those anchor points for me is to just, make it a habit of, checking that off, adding things to our log. We also have to keep a log of the materials that are used daily. And so, I can work that into mealtime, that, okay, when we're having our meal and chatting about things, I'm going to simply log those things at that time. Making sure that that happens on a daily basis is a lot easier. I can tell you this from experience, a lot easier to work it into the daily routine than at the end of the year trying to remember everything that you used. Freebie bundle that I mentioned that has both of those planning resources. It is available on our blog. So if you go to the Schiller Learning website, go to the Homeschool blog, it is under free activities. So that is going to have both the parent planner as well as the student planning resources. If you have our math or our language arts, just one of those, that freebie bundle also has scores, I mean, tons of pages of free activity samples from all of our kits. So it's also a great way of getting a sneak peek at maybe, a kit that you're thinking of adding, or if you're completely new to Schiller Learning, it's a great way of beginning to see what our math and language arts curriculum is all about. The movable alphabet that I had mentioned, again, that is in our language arts kit A. And that is going to wrap it up for today.